Today we have Antoine Isaac with us from Europeana, who's going to give us an overview of the Europeana project, and perhaps, Antoine, are you able to show us some use cases? I know you sent me an email saying there were some issues with that, but
yeah, well, actually, I will try to make the case for well, for using linked open data and showing a bit how Europeana is already benefiting from it and plans to do even more in the future. Would that be all right for you?
yes, indeed, it would be. Would be great. Thank you. Oh, okay, I'm going to turn it over to you then, Antoine.
Thanks, Eleanor. So, well, first, thank you for having me. It's a great pleasure to have the opportunity to be with you today. So I will, just as I said, make a brief introduction on Europeana, so what we do in general, and actually quite quickly dive into linked open data, what it has brought to us, actually on quite many levels. And maybe a bit of future plans and discussion at the end. I have to say, I don't know how you organize these sessions usually. If you let speakers interrupt the presenter, or if you prefer questions in the end, I'm okay either way.
One thing, Antoine, is that some people don't have a mic and they might post a question under the chat.
Yeah.
So you might keep an eye toward that in case a question appears there.
Okay, so I've just made a little test to see if it works. It seems so. All right, so let's go in the presentation of Europeana in general. Well, I guess, I hope some of you have heard from us already. So we aim to be Europe's platform for accessing cultural heritage. So we gather digitized objects coming from a wide variety of cultural heritage collections. So currently 41 million objects, and that's really yeah, a huge set of objects. And there are books, there are paintings, music, video, 3D objects, etc. So that's quite a diversity of things. What we do make available, actually, what we are is in reality a metadata aggregator. So what Europeana makes available is a search engine and metadata and access to digital objects on the cultural heritage partner sites. So we do not really host the content. What we do is harvesting the metadata and provide an access service using it. But this alone proves quite a challenge, because we have to do that for a really big network of galleries, museums, archives, and libraries, as shown on this slide. So the structure of the network is a bit hierarchical, so to say. So there are individual data providers, which correspond to well, the individual museums, libraries, and archives, and they get aggregated via projects or organization, which can be either thematic or based in specific countries. So actually, for those of you familiar with DPLA, it matches a bit their model of hubs and the network that they are building in the United States. For museum data, so for example, we have aggregators such as Europeana Local, Athena, Linked Heritage, and some national aggregators. So I won't dive into the detail, because probably that's not the main focus of today's session. But if you want to see more, then you can search for these names later. So now I get a comment that my slides are not advancing, which may be a problem. So can you see my my slides moving forward or not?
No.
We see your mouse, but we see just the first slide still in, I don't know if you have a presenter view or something else. Okay, now it's better.
Okay. Well, this system is a bit confusing actually, because I can't, or it's actually fairly powerful because I can select, so to say, what I show to you, but that also means that I have to, yeah, select either the source of the presentation. So can you see here a slide called What is Europeana?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. So these were the diverse objects I was showing. The metadata and the links to the digital objects online. That's the aggregation structure. And these were the museum aggregators I was just mentioning. So sorry for sorry for this, and thank you for noting this. So I hope now we are really synchronized. So so that's for the aggregation part, but actually Europeana aims to be a bit more than this. So in fact, the memory institutions they provide content and metadata, but we do intend to serve and to be a platform for as many users as possible. So here on this fairly complex drawing, you can see how the cultural data is feeding the network and serve as a base for many services. Well, diverse and geographically well, serving all the countries in Europe. So we aim to be a multi-sided platform, and we identify these main audiences that we want to serve. The first ones, of course, are the end users, and our goal here is to serve them via the main portal at Europeana.eu, but also via a series of more specific sites, such as one on World War I, another on food and drink, and more to come. So really trying to tailor an access for end users to the cultural heritage data that we have harvested throughout Europe. The second audience is what we call creatives, or actually what many people call creative, of course. And the idea here is to make our content accessible for people who want to develop other applications on top of it. And that may happen in domains such as tourism or in academic communities, so for digital humanities, for example. And we have a portfolio of services that are targeting these people. And the final one is the community of professionals. And this is actually coming back to our very core stakeholder, which are the museums, the archives, and the libraries in our network. So organizations which are interested in well, getting benefits out of this vast network of organization and users that Europeana is currently building. And that includes, yeah, some data services, statistics, a lot of facilitation. Also, we organize a lot of meetings. We try to do a lot of networking, making sure that everyone gets the opportunity, well, just to benefit from this this big movement all over Europe currently happening. So that was for well, general setting of the Europeana project. Now I would like to dive into the detail of today's topic. So what is the connection between Europeana and linked open data? So first, actually, the very first interest of Europeana for linked data was actually motivated by the open. So Europeana has been very keen on facilitating the exchange of cultural data, and of course for the content, so the digital objects on the side of the providers, there are all kind of intellectual property rights or access rights which apply. But we were very strongly convinced that the sort of service that we wanted to provide would have to be based on metadata which would be open. So we had this big effort at quite early in the project to make all the metadata that we receive licensed as CC0, that is completely open. And of course, the connection with linked open data was quite straightforward, because in a way, linked open data was making some promises that were extremely similar to the ones that we actually wanted to deliver for our partners, and for the many people who would use our service later on. So it started with this sort of strategic alignment, and that has materialized into our playing around a bit with publishing data as linked open data. So we have a pilot at data.europeana.eu, in which we publish a subset of our data. So it's currently still a work in progress. So as we speak now, we are trying to update it so that it can release the entire metadata set. Hopefully that will happen in the coming couple of months. So there has not been many application cases where people use the linked open data. That has happened. So for example, here I've put a link to a project in Ireland that was plugged to our linked data service and exploiting it to align with other data sets of theirs. Interestingly, one of the consequences of this linked data pilot is that it has been showcased as a sort of typical scenario for let's say cultural people interested in culture, such as humanists, to try and double with linked open data. So here is a case where someone uses the linked open data at Europeana as an example to learn Sparkle, which is this linked open data query language. But honestly, this is still not the very first channel for reuse of data. So because it's still a bit a pilot, so we are currently pushing more the other channels, such as the API. But we will still keep an eye on that, and as soon as our pilot is updated as a real production service, we will push it a bit more, in a stronger fashion, because we believe that this has a huge potential. And actually, we do believe it has a lot of potential, because for ourselves, we are already using a lot of linked open data to actually serve better our users. So the very first benefit of linked open data that we could get was the one of just getting a better approach to the data that we harvest. So several years ago, we've moved from a very simple model for the data that we harvest into a richer one, which was directly inspired by the linked data principle. So this new model, which is called the Europeana data model, quite unsurprisingly. Prior to this, we were getting data in flat records, so there was no link between objects and contextual entities, such as person and places. Everything was just provided as simple strings. It was mixing data on many levels, so there was data on the real objects, so let's say the analogical objects, and the digitized content, all this in the same records. There were a lot of mapping quality problems, so that was actually quite suboptimal for the metadata aggregation process. So we moved to that new model, which allowed to get a bit more richness into the data. So, for example, about well, in the case of music, taking this this clavichord here that I show, it's no longer a set of strings in flat fields. It's actually a sort of small network of entities connected together. So the music instruments, which on this slide corresponds to the node of type provided CHO, still has some description in the using simple strings, but it also has a link to a concept, which is the concept of clavichord, and which is no longer provided as a simple string. It's provided as a URI. So this is the link to the MimoDB database that we see at the bottom of this slide. And the thing is that having this link allows us to harvest the thesaurus of this collection as linked open data. So they publish it as linked open data, and that allows us to get the translations in German, Swedish, etc. For this string. So no longer just getting this flat data, but something a bit richer. The same happened for places. So now we can get the localization or the spatial coverage of an object no longer as a simple place name, but as a more structured place object, which would include coordinates, which of course is quite precious for building an access service, which is a bit going beyond simple metadata-based search. So one of the very good value is that this model is really ready for metadata enrichment. So we already reuse third-party sources, and it's actually so I've shown an example coming from a provider directly. So they have the data set and the thesaurus kind of coexisting in the same space. But what we see now is that we have some providers that reuse some third-party sources. And now I would like to try a little demo where we have collections that are connected to the art and architecture thesaurus, which was recently published as linked open data, and show a bit how it's exploited in the portal. So I apologize in advance, it may be a bit bumpy with the presentation, so please tell me if you see me going to my browser, or if you don't see it. So now you should see the Europeana portal. Is it all right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, thanks.
Yes, we see it.
So I'm going to make a simple search and crossing my fingers. So I'm going to search for Uurglazen, which means hourglass, but that's in Dutch. And as you can see, we get some results. I'm going to click on one. And here is the thing. So it's actually coming from an Italian collection, and we can see the metadata here. And if we just scroll down this the description for this object, there is no Dutch subject attached to it. So the subject especially is just in English. But actually, when I hover these subjects, we can see that one of them, which is shown as hourglasses here in English, is actually not really the string hourglasses provided as a simple flat value. This is actually a concept coming from the art and architecture thesaurus, which has been used for creating the description of this object. And this description, this multilingual description on AAT, we've been able to follow the link to it and to get the different labels. So if I try to switch the language of the interface to something like, well, actually, I will do it in Spanish because just to show you a bit something else. So I've changed the language of the interface to Spanish, and we can see here that the string hourglasses has been changed to relos de las horas. Sorry for my Spanish. But actually, that shows that in our database now we have the different translations that that Getty has made accessible for this this subject, and we are able to exploit them to provide with richer display in that case. So changing the language to which well, to the language in which the interface shows the object to the users, but also that is included in the search as well. So as in the case of this this Dutch search that I've done just before. And the interesting thing is that this can be done by any collection in Europe which would be related to AAT. So if they have already a description with an AAT identifier, they can message it and use the AAT web identifier so that we can harvest the enriched data that Getty provides for it. So now I will go back to my slide. So hope you can see it. So this was for a very small demo on how we exploit it. And well, I wanted to emphasize. Sorry.
We're seeing the main slide deck again rather than the presentation.
Thanks a lot. And now you should see the presentation. Hopefully.
Yes, looks good.
So I was here. So I wanted to emphasize that yeah, there's a bit more than the display and search. Actually, all these links, they exist at the data level. And they are exported through our API so that all the data reusers can provide these sort of enhanced functions as well. So it's not only something that we keep for ourselves, but because the data is linked and open, these links to AAT can be exported, and anyone else can, in turn, go and fetch the AAT data as well. So we are, in a way, just passing this enriched information from our providers to our reusers in a quite easy manner, because technically linked open data just allows this quite easily. So this is not just about search. This is also not just about AAT. So of course, as you know, Getty will release also vocabularies as linked data, and our providers will be able to use them. We also have partners who use other linked data sets. So we have collections using geonames, using VIA from OCRC. We've got some linked data case using the German authority files. Subjects is alright, like icon class. Reference linked data sets like DBpedia, and this sort of also subject-specific, project-specific linked data like the ones for the music instrument that I've shown before. Or another thesaurus from the Part Express project, which is about Art Nouveau stuff. So this is quite a variety of scenarios, and we intend to do further by actually trying to do some automatic linking by ourselves. So of course it's great when a collection comes already with links to these linked datasets, but still. A lot of time what we are getting is flat data, so we are trying to enrich it by links to some reference data sets, mostly now geonames, DBpedia, and a multilingual thesaurus, which is provided by a European agency called GEMET, which is quite interesting because of its language coverage. So here on this this example. We've got a painting coming from a Dutch collection, and it has been enriched by us using the DBpedia dataset to to the DBpedia resource for Johannes Vermeer. And this gives us the sort of structured information with the translations that I have shown already before for the subjects of the AAT. So that was for enriching metadata. Another benefit of linked data is that this richer data that we get, the process itself of creating the model has been facilitated by the linked data technology. So we have actually not really reinventing wheels by ourselves when doing this new model. We could tap into a big community effort and existing models. So the semantic web paradigm just allows mixing things that already exist. So we did not have to reinvent much in the end. We could just select bits of pieces of existing models that would fit our needs better, and thus benefit from work that was already done elsewhere, which is of course quite great. Furthermore, it's also a model which allows different semantic grains to coexist. There is this semantic web principle that you can specialize classes and properties used to describe the data pretty much as you see fit. And this enables extension, what is sometimes called application profiles, based on the needs and best practices from specific sectors or domains. So, for example, in the model, we use the standard doubling core property for representing the creator of an artwork. But we have a project called DM2E, which is focusing on manuscript, and they were interesting more in finer kind of links like this writer link. So what they could create is a sort of extension to our model for representing writer links. And that can coexist seamlessly with the higher level that are standard in our data model. So that's actually proving quite useful in a networked environment such as ours, where more specialized initiatives will have to coexist with more general efforts. So trying to sum up the benefits of linked data for Europeana. Well, the vision of linked open data met pretty well all the open data strategies that we try ourselves to encourage and to benefit from. The vocabularies and data sets can be easily reused for enrichment. It makes the data work better for search and display, but not only, as I said. It makes it technically more easy to publish and to connect data together. And it also brings a more flexible approach to building and reusing standards. And in general, a more flexible approach to interoperability of data, and to have have different data sources and different data views to coexist together. So therefore, we will continue to advocate linked open data. So here's a small link to this video we made a couple of years ago to show what linked open data is and to explain all the benefits. So I will not play it again. Actually, I think I've played it to some of the people here in this session a couple of years ago. But it's quite nice to see actually that these principles that we showcased a couple of years ago, we've been able to make some progress in the direction of implementing them and benefiting from them. And we certainly hope to continue for that. So we have some development ongoing to enhance search. So, for example, some auto-completion feature which are based on existing linked data sources. So this is maybe not super innovative right now, but it could still bring a lot to our users. So you start typing a query, and then instead of just having this query sent as a bare string query to the search engine, you get the opportunity to disambiguate it by selecting a specific entity that you may be interested in, such as the different the different Mozarts that we could have in our database. It can be used also for browsing. So we have a project called Europeana Channels, which is in development. And one of the things that we would like to do is to have a much more entity-based approach to exploration of cultural collection, which has been also prototyped in some pilots in the community already. But we would like to implement that at Europeana as well. So not only getting result list of objects, but getting the opportunity to access pages that are about people, about places, which would give a bit richer experience to accessing the artwork themselves. Annotation, of course, we have some projects ongoing that will allow users to make some rich annotation about the cultural content, and most importantly, to have these annotations make available to contexts which are different from the one they were produced, which could, of course, foster all kind of interesting reuse scenarios. So, yeah, as some temporary conclusions, let's say, because all this is work in progress. So these linked data visions, it brings us a lot of opportunities and challenges, not only for ourselves, but also for our partners. So this is really a good network effort, so to say. Also, an important lesson that we learned is that it is not necessary to implement the full semantic web technology at once to already reap some benefits out of the vision. Actually, what we are seeing in Europeana is that we do get some bits of pieces here, and we start already to benefit from them. So the most important is to always try to see where the general linked data vision can change things that are more specific and bring something to the different services that we have in our portfolio. So this would conclude my presentation, and now I would gladly take any question if you have.
First of all, thank you, Antoine. That was really interesting. Appreciate it. Let me open it up to questions. You may see them in the chat area. I posted one about the open access of the intellectual property because there was an opportunity, and I know Craig is on the line. We were putting together a proposal to work with some museums in Germany that would focus on the 19th century American artists that studied in the Dusseldorf School. And what we encountered, it wasn't a problem for that project because the material is not contemporary, but while we were talking to the people at various museums in Europe, we were reminded that there are a lot of restrictions in terms of access to the images for contemporary works of art. And I'm just curious how Europeana overcame that.
So in general, especially for the content, we are not really in position to impose existing policies to change, but we do try a bit. So we have some efforts going on well, making it a bit easier to access the more modern cultural material. And actually, we do focus on the metadata and the access services also as a way to convince people, well, to convince organizations that there is also interest for them to release the content later on, because of course it's not always very fruitful to digitize all this stuff and not to make it available. So we believe that there can be models in which well, some content can stay a bit more under control, but some content should go more open. So yes, we have ongoing initiatives to make strong cases for this.
Okay.
So, Antoine, this is Craig. I have a question about the mapping that you were talking about. So linking it to these other resources and such. Do you have tools for doing that, or how are you actually doing the linking?
So in the Europeana core service, we do indeed have a simple alignment tool, which is basically which is based on let's say advanced string matching. So we do a bit of string matching and some tweaking by carefully selecting the rules and the and the data sets. So actually we try to make sure that we are not using data sets which would raise ambiguity. But in general, the tooling that we use for core service is fairly simple. But there's a lot happening in related projects. So Europeana sits in the middle of many related projects that are investigating some more advanced linking procedures. So actually, some of them also embarked on making their own vocabularies and classification by merging some sources. So there will be more coming in the next month. But it's actually fairly difficult to make inventories of the solutions that are currently used or developed. In fact, we do have a task force which is just focusing on that. So trying to reach out to all the projects and make sure that we can provide a sort of reference list of everything that is happening, and also trying to homogenize the way these services are working together. Because, I guess you know well, but every project would tend to have their own solution to encryption and linking. And the end result is a set of services that can be very diverse in terms of API, of precision levels, and we would like to bring a bit more homogeneity on this, at least in our network.
Yeah, I agree completely. In fact, I think one of the issues too is that much of the work people have done on linking is focused just on sort of methods for doing automatic linking, with no real thought about how to do the curation of the end data. Yeah,
so we do have a couple of effort which would be focusing a bit on crowdsourcing of enrichment. So maybe not people producing enrichments, but having some kind of curation of the automatic enrichment. So, for example, projects in the sounds domain, they want to, so they are building annotation tool, and one of the scenarios is to allow people to tag when an enrichment is incorrect, and to make suggestion. We are also looking, or some of our partner projects are also looking in the direction of Wikidata. That is making some nice progress in this direction. I don't know if you've seen this fancy mix and match tool.
No, I haven't seen that.
So that's about making semi-automatic links to Wikidata, and one of our partners, actually that's Ontotext, who was involved in the linked open data of Getty. They've taken the Smithsonian list of persons that has been published as linked open data and run it in this tool, and they already got some hundreds of links fixed by people from the Wikidata community.
That's very nice. So who did that work?
Craig, the SAM data.
Yeah, Craig, this is Sarah. Yeah, is going to tell you about it.
Well, I think they explained it, but they took the SAM person data and put it in the mix.
Yeah, can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Yes. So actually, so this is I had planned to show this if I had the time. So you're just giving me the opportunity. So this is a query on the Wiki database for the property that links something from the SAM dataset to Wikidata. and we can see an entry for an American sculptor here, and somewhere down here, here's a link to the American Art Museum person list, which if I click on it would send me here. So there is some interesting linking happening there, and we would like to try this with some of the collections and the vocabularies that are in our community. So actually, there's a conference called GlamWiki in a couple of weeks in The Hague, and we have a presentation about it, and we'll try to reach out to the Wikidata community, see if we can get some more synergy here.
Fantastic.
So Antoine, who did you say did that work? Did you say it was Ontotech?
Excuse me?
Who actually did the work that you're talking about, the linking stuff?
That's Vladimir Alexeyev. But what he did is actually so he fetched the data from the Smithsonian. He pushed it into this mix and match tool, and apparently there are people willing to use that tool, and the tool performs some automatic enrichment, and then these enrichments are checked by the crowd, so to say. So I should have prepared a link to mix and match that could have been maybe interesting. But well, if you have time later on, you can search for it. I'm just pasting the name of the thing in the chat.
Okay, great. Thanks.
I'm just wondering how AAC, any of you out there, what you thought when we saw the slide of putting in the Mozart, and then it said, gave you choices, Mozart who? Wolfgang or Friedrich, or how you liked that example. Anyone thought that was good, or?
I thought it was really helpful.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's sort of like when you type a name popping up in an address line in an email.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we don't know yet how well it's going to work because our collection is so diverse. But well, at least we're going to we are giving it a try. So it will actually probably work better for specific domains in which we can actually cheat a bit by selecting the vocabularies that would be used for such auto-completion. So it will probably be first implemented in what we call channels. So this sort of sub-portal that targets some subset of Europeana, not the entire thing.
When we first corresponded about doing this briefing today, you had mentioned that there was a person copied in the email. Somebody might be assigned from Europeana to sort of track or keep track of our initiative. I don't know what that entails, but we're very interested in when we establish our critical mass and push forward from where we are now in being able to connect with Europeana down the road.
I think we would be very interested as well.
Great. So I hope that you gave me the name of a person. I don't know if that's the person we should keep informed, or you, or whatever you suggest.
Yeah, well, you can use me for the time being.
Okay.
Happy to serve. So yes, just a comment. I see the links in the chat. So these are indeed the things I was mentioning.
Great. Yeah.
Any other question?
Yeah. Any other questions? Well,
No.
I guess not. I think it was very helpful. We very much.
It's
Yeah,
great.
Craig.
And I have one more question. So, you know, we've used in the Karma work we've done, we've used both the Europeana ontology and the CDOC CRM ontology. And I'm sort of curious about your thoughts on where that's going. I mean, it seems like there's a role for both, and I guess it makes sense, you know, if you publish neither one, you know, to be able to in some way convert it to the other one. But I'm sort of curious about your thoughts about the relationship between the EDM ontology and the CDOC CRM ontology.
Well, to a great extent, we've been inspired by the CRM ontology when we created EDM. So not all the aspects of EDM are inspired from it, but there are some parts that I would say are largely compatible with CRM. So there are maybe yeah, actually some. Well, there's one part which we've not rolled out yet because yeah, we're a bit cautious with what it would imply in terms of effort for the data providers. But there's one part about events which is fairly straightforwardly taken from CRM. So, and this, I'd say that. Yeah, this linked data approach to modeling makes me also quite comfortable with the coexistence of the model. So actually, we are getting more and more comfortable with the idea of mappings from one model to the other, and CRM is just one of them. And as long as it's fairly good, then that's great, because that means that it's also richer data that we can tap into later on.
Yeah, I agree. That makes sense. And in fact, you know, one of the things I've been thinking is that, you know, since we've been mapping all of the AAC data to CRM, that, you know, we probably will just create some kind of mapping so that we could automatically build the data for EDM, so that you could actually have it in either one.
Yeah, yeah, I believe that such mapping would be rather straightforward, like almost. Well, maybe not in all the cases, but in many cases it would be just a rewriting of the classes and the properties using some subclass and subproperty axioms.
Okay, and if there are no more questions, going on, thank you very much, Antoine. We enjoyed the presentation, and we look forward to staying in touch. And letting you know how our project progresses.
Yeah, it's really great. So please keep us in the loop. It's really exciting to see what you guys are doing.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Multiple thank yous.